Hello and welcome to Is There Something in This, the podcast where I, Scott Dooley, and he, Jason Chatfield, invite you into our writer's room as we come up with cartoons for the New Yorker magazine, among other things, and also for our book series.
Book series.
Oh, you've got a copy. I'm yet to see one.
Real-time reveal of the book to Scott. This is the first time he's seeing it.
Look at that. So Jason and I have a book series out called You're Not a Real Until, and You're Not a Real Dog Owner. We did the cover reveal. And it went thank you very much. I assume you bought it because you're listening to this. And if you didn't, you're dead to me. Why don't you go back to your Joe Rogan podcast, you meathead? What's the matter? The book's too much for you? It's honestly 12 words a page.
It's too much book smarts for them. No, I
Our audience isn't much by way of book learning.
Words aren't really us talking today. So I went to live draw the Westminster Dog Show last weekend, and that's when we did the big cover reveal.
What is the Westminster Dog Show like? Because my only reference point is Best in Show,
which is exactly. I've never watched a film that is more accurately portraying, whilst parodying something. It is the most on point, accurate thing, down to just the esoteria, the language. It's amazing. The dynamics between the dog and the owners themselves, the married couples, It's perfect. It's the perfect film.
Is it one of those things, because you and I have done a Comic-Con together here in New York where we were signing things and what have you, and essentially everyone is just kind of wandering around until the Marvel people are doing their press, whatever they do, or they're going to show 3 minutes from the Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
And then in that downtime, people are like, oh, I remember baseball cards or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the agility finals is the Marvel panel.
The thing I found was at the beginning, everyone there that I spoke to had a bit of a look. I'm not normally a nerd, but I'm just here for everyone kind of had a reason for being there. And then later on in the thing, people are like, hey, "Do you want to see my Ant-Man tattoo?" Is it a bit like that there?
It's not only is it in the exact same venue, the Javits.
It's at the Javits.
It's at the Javits, but it is exactly the same. People go in, they're like, I'll just go to see some puppies. I like dogs, don't I? By the end, they're like, I don't think that his back, I don't think his hindquarters are quite right. They're talking in such language as if they're, like people watching the Olympics. All of a sudden, you're an expert at
you're too much splash or whatever.
Yeah. The people go from casual dog lovers to experts on, the course, the agility
If that's what wins, they may as well just get rid of sporting from now on.
It's a DEI dog. No. There was no halftime show, I'm afraid to say. And you know what was strange? It took place on the same weekend as the Super Bowl. I don't know which crowd was crazier because I went to watch the Super Bowl at the pub, and it was like everyone was obviously insanely over the top about it and very into it. And then the halftime show was just blew everyone away.
Well, I've had a mixed halftime. Look, does anyone need our take?
Everyone's had a take.
I loved it.
I am curious about it.
Loved it.
Yeah, okay.
I thought it was fantastic.
I thought it was great.
I thought it was really good.
Yep.
And but a lot of people didn't like it. Not like the kind of typical stuff that we've heard, but friends of mine that were like, there were no melodies. Okay.
Melodies.
And that was a bit of a I'm old now.
You gotta stop hanging out with Looney Tunes characters.
There were no merry melodies.
So this coming week, when this episode comes out, we are coming into the 100th year of the New Yorker magazine, the magazine we do cartoons for.
Yeah, that's right. You were saying you wanted to go through our favorite.
Yeah, well, I thought what might be nice just for this episode, because we never really dive into our top anything, really, because once in a while we'll reference a cartoon, but we know that a lot of our listeners like cartoons, they like New Yorker cartoons. We never really pinned down our favorites. And I know you have favorites, I have favorites. I'm always gag first. It's so hard to pin down a top three. So this week I thought, what are my top three? It's really hard to pin down. But this week I thought it might be nice just in the celebration of the 100th anniversary of the New Yorker is like, all right, what are our top 3 favorite New Yorker cartoons?
And my favorite thing about this is your idea, and I know that it has driven you mad.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, because
Immediately.
it's a very funny thing to be completely humorless about.
Yep, exactly.
And that's what
It
you
is
are.
funny,
You're
yeah.
humorless about
I
this.
am. I'm like it's like picking the best. It's a sport. It's a sport for me. It is a sport. And in the way that baseball obsessives talk about batting averages and stuff, I mean, I'm obsessive about cartoonists.
Less hemophiliacs play baseball, though.
Very good.
You know?
Yeah. So I was wondering.
I wonder if we've got any of the same ones. I want to say my oldest
yeah.
one is like 25 years. Like, I haven't gone
Yeah,
deep.
okay, sure. Mine are pretty. I got a couple of old ones in there, but I got a couple of new ones as well.
How?
Well,
It's top 3.
There's 3. I mean, I've got two newish.
I
and
must
one
say I've
old.
got 5 here, or 4 here. All right.
what do you
My
What's your number 3?
number 3.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to go 4. Because
Okay, let's go for it.
there's a
Top 4.
tie for 3.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do 4 too.
Number 3, number 4 is Harry Bliss.
Yes.
It's 2 rabbits. Do you know this joke?
No, which one?
There's 2 rabbits and they're sitting, it's like a father rabbit and a son rabbit, and they're on like a train station. It's quite clear that the son rabbit is about to embark on a journey, like he's going to college or whatever, and his father's there kind of giving him a bit of a fatherly pat on the thing, and he's got a little box, it's a gift box, and he's passing it, and he said, your mother wanted you to have this for good luck. It's her foot.
That's a
The
great
way it's
joke.
drawn is just fantastic.
And the line, the way that the line's
It's 2
written.
sentences. It's just like a setup and
Fantastic.
punch, which I generally don't like. But
No, I love it.
It is just such a. It's one of those ones where you look at the picture, then you look at the caption, then you look back up to see. Oh yeah, he's got a little box. I hadn't
Perfect
noticed that. It's
form.
very good.
That's perfect. And I know he draws with that pencil line, so it all looks very like story.
Yeah, it looked like something from Peter Rabbit.
100%.
What do you do your?
So that reminds me. So my number 4 is actually an older one from Emily Flake. What have I told you? If you can't say anything nice, say something clever but devastating. Clever but devastating is one of the funniest punchlines.
It's very
I think about
good.
that joke once
I
a
can
week.
actually hear Emily giving that advice.
100%. Yes. We did a gig over in Pennsylvania a couple of weeks ago, and her comic voice, like her stand-up voice, perfectly matches
Right.
her New Yorker cartoon voice. It's like perfectly formed.
Number 3 for me is Sam Gross, and it's a whole bunch of penguins on the ice, the sheet of ice,
Iceberg, yeah.
and they're all standing there, but except for one penguin who is flying like circles around them, and he's saying down to them, "We just weren't flapping hard enough."
This is the gold standard you and I try to aspire
That's
to every
very good.
week. So my number 3 is so it's actually it's kind of relevant now, which is why I kind of love it. It's I want to say it's from like 2015 or 2016, and it's Paul Noth.
Yeah.
And there's a cartoon that says it's a big billboard out in a meadow, and there are a whole bunch of sheep in the meadow, and on the billboard there's a picture of a fox. No, it's a wolf. It's a wolf on the billboard, and the billboard just says, "I am going to eat you," and the caption is, "He tells it like it is." It's a great,
That is
and
very
it's
good.
so relevant
Yeah.
now. It keeps getting shared.
At that time, I know everyone was kind of circling that idea,
Yeah.
and he was the one that cracked it.
Absolutely
it just
landed
felt like
that plane.
landed it just perfectly.
Yep. What's your number 2?
Number 2, actually, I lied. This
Okay.
is my oldest one by John Callahan,
Yeah, great. Love John Callahan.
and it's 2 members of the KKK.
Brilliant.
And they're walking out, and one of them saying to the other one, "Don't you just love it when they're still warm from the dryer?" It's so good. And the best thing is
I
like
love
his drawing, you wouldn't say he was the greatest illustrator in the world, John.
But it works.
It just suits it so
It does.
perfectly.
He was in a wheelchair. Did you see? There's a film called "Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot" with Joaquin Phoenix. playing-
Criminally underrated.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Sam-
Jonah Hill is so good in that movie, dude.
Agreed. Yeah. And interestingly enough, your number 3, Sam Gross, was his sort of mentor. He mentored.
That's right. Yeah.
And you can tell that they have the same sick, deranged. sense of
Oh,
humor.
Callahan's darker.
Oh, very
I
dark.
think Sam knows how to
Very
pull
dark.
it back.
I don't know. Have you seen his book, Help, I'm Blind and My Dog is Dead? That's one of my favorite books of all time. It's so
Imagine
good.
being in that meeting. Hey, Sam, we're really excited to
Yeah.
work with you. Have you thought about a title? Yeah, I've got one, and I'm not budging.
That's Sam. That was Sam. That's why he was one of the best.
I will walk.
Okay, so my number 2 is from easily one of my top 3 favorite New Yorker cartoonists of all time. I think he's our favorite, Ed Steed.
Oh, I've got one of his as well.
Okay, I thought you might.
Yeah.
And on purpose.
It was hard to choose.
It's so hard to choose. Between, you've got so many, the woodpecker pecking on top of the microwave and the guy saying, "Did you try to fix this yourself?" Just all these dots on top of the microwave. It's one of my favorite jokes. So it's not that. That's not even my number 2. My number 2, and I laugh at this. I had this on my wall. I bought it. It's one of the few things I've ever bought off the Condé Nast store. I bought a print of this for my wall, my studio wall. It's this fucking weird guy, and he's wedged in the floor on the top floor of some building. There's a staircase off to the left. 2 smaller people. I don't know if they're regular size and he's giant. I'm assuming that's what it is. He's giant, they're tiny. And he's wedged in the floor. And he's got long hair and a beard and this fucking creepy look on his face. And it says, "This explains the penis we saw downstairs." It's one of the few times the word penis has been published in a New Yorker cartoon. For those of you,
very good.
Scott is literally crying right now, actually weeping. Yeah, so that's my number 2.
My number 2 is from our homie Ellis Fax Rosen.
Oh yes, Ellis Fact Rosen.
We call him Fax Rosen because anytime we say, "Oh, has this been done?" he will text us and say, "Hey, I was listening to the podcast and Roz Chess did that
Yeah.
in 1998."
Gary Larson,
how
97.
we've got a really fresh idea. It's a guy from the mafia, and he's looking at some kind of postmodern, like Jackson Pollock style art, and he's saying to his wise guy offsider, "I like it. He makes it look like an accident."
I don't know if this is just because you and I love Sopranos and Goodfellas and all that stuff, but it's just like any wise guy gag.
I've got a wise guy gag this week.
One of the great Ed Steed ones was the 2 wise guys in a coffee shop, and they got electrodes connected to the guy's nipples, and then they walk over to someone who's on a laptop, going, "Can I use that outlet?"
The other good one is the 3 wise men are in a bar, and it's a Gary Larson joke. It's a Far Side joke, and this guy's standing up, squaring up to them and pointing. He's very angry. It's about to be a bar fight. He goes, "Oh yeah, more like a couple of wise guys, if you ask me."
The 3 wise guys.
You?
Okay, so this is my number 1.
Here we go.
Okay. And I laugh about this is the reason this is my number 1. It is the perfect encapsulation of what a New Yorker cartoon is. It does the work, and I don't want to preface it too much, but I do want to say that this is one of the best cartoonists, I think, in my opinion. I know that Johnny DiNapoli agrees.
It's Johnny DiNapoli.
It's by Charles Barsotti, and it is. I've seen this cartoon a million times. I can't stop laughing at it.
Yeah.
It's a piece of pasta.
Yep.
Regular pasta. Picking up the phone. Yeah. Saying, "Fusilli, you crazy bastard. How are you?" You have to know what fusilli is. You have to know, and it's a piece of pasta picking up a phone.
It's also got that. He's drawn the. It's a penne.
Sorry, penne. Not
Yeah, he's got like that classic like penne face.
right. Just regular penne.
So
with the,
good.
with the easily one of my I think about it all the time. It's the perfect caption.
My number one, Ed Steed.
Yep.
Squid Surprise Party.
Ah, the best.
Which is, I don't know if
best.
you've seen it. There's a squid coming home. There's a surprise party. And the squid's at the door. Door's open. And everyone is covered in ink.
It's the moment right after it happened.
It's just perfect.
It is
just such a good joke.
utterly perfect.
Okay, should we get into our own
Let's
jokes?
get into our
it's
own
good that
jokes.
we've just gone to 10 of the greatest jokes ever written.
Pretty much.
And now we're
Yep.
like, nah, what if the dog is saying, nah, I don't like it?
Wait, that's one of mine.
Yeah.
Go on.
Okay, this one is pretty hacky.
Okay, before you begin, let me, and if you're listening to this on just audio, totally fine. If you are watching this on Substack, you can now look at the video and you can see me live drawing these ideas that Scott has as he's coming up with them, which is a new little thing we're doing. Yeah, okay. So I'm not going to break anything while I'm doing this.
Well, that remains to be seen.
It's an aim, it's a goal, it's a New Year's resolution.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay, so what have you got?
All right, so
this week?
classic schoolhouse, teacher at the front,
Okay.
right? And something's been thrown at the blackboard.
Okay.
And it has clearly ruined the blackboard.
what is it, like a fruit or something?
No,
Or-
it's we see what it is because it is the globe. It's the world. So it
Oh,
has thrown like a huge like globe at the
And has it wedged into the
perhaps it's wedged in, and the teacher's turning around, very clearly trying to, figure out who's done this.
Right.
And there's a group of naughty boys standing there, but one of the naughty boys is Atlas.
He's just got the big shoulders.
And he's shrugging.
He's shrugging.
He's just shrugging.
Atlas shrugged. Like Alfred E. Newman.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know if it's too punny, but
Well, yeah. Is it okay? Now, let me ask you this, because the mechanics of this actually matter. Instead of it being from the back of the room looking forward, is it left to right? So you
maybe
have-
it's left to right.
yeah. So that you see the globe sort of wedged into the blackboard, or it's on the ground where it's
whatever.
smashed.
Yeah.
And that is on the left is where the teacher's desk is, maybe an apple on the desk, and then her looking left, and then every other kid just like looking like, ooh, and he's just
He's up
shrugging.
the back, like he's enormous compared to the children.
And he's got one of those like little desks like
Yeah,
from
yeah,
back in the
yeah, yeah,
50s with
yeah.
the little tray
Yeah,
in it.
that's great.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll make it a left to right cartoon. Yeah, that works. That's funny. I like that.
Okay.
Is it? There's no Atlas Shrugged reference.
No.
at all?
Yeah, I think it's.
I think it speaks for itself.
I think it's pretty schlocky as it is.
I think it's okay. Great. What else you got?
This one is there's a family like on a sitcom set, right?
Okay.
So and there's an audience, and you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like you're looking at the set from a little bit away, so you can see the audience, you can see the lights, you can see the camera, you can see kind of how it's set up, where it's just like a third of a room or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
For the thing,
Okay.
and there's a family, like a sitcom looking family.
Yeah.
and they're having a chat. There's a workman, and the workman's kind of talking to them. Obviously, something's gone wrong in the house.
Okay. Are they at a dining room table or something?
Where they can be anywhere,
Okay,
but
all right.
I prefer if it's a workman kind of standing up, like he's diagnosing a problem that they've got.
Okay.
And he's saying, yeah, just as I thought, you're going to need a whole new fourth wall.
Is it a theater or is it?
No, it's a sitcom, like an actual
with the flats.
The flats, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
that's good. You're gonna need an entire fourth wall.
Okay,
Very meta.
it's pretty meta.
Very meta. How appropriate.
This one I like. It's a woman. She's about to die, like in battle, or she's been in a plane accident or something, and there's someone tending to her.
Okay.
like she's been found in a mountain, or just a woman that's about to die, and she's maybe having the last rites read to her, and she's very, frail, and she's trying to get out her last words.
Yeah.
And someone's there helping her, and she said her last words are, please tell my husband that I went to Harvard.
That's so silly. That's so silly. How can I just ask you, how many times have you had this situation?
Oh,
now?
I had one on Threads where this woman had written, on Threads,
So
which
funny.
is the Meta kind of offering of
version of Twitter.
Twitter,
Sure.
right? And excuse me. But what happens with it is you just get served like random stuff from anyone, right?
Yep.
And this person had written the most self-indulgent thing. She'd written like, I was just talking to my boyfriend's dad. No, my boyfriend's dad was just bragging about me, saying not only did she go to Harvard, but now she's going to solve the Middle East. He goes, she goes, I love my family so much, or something. And it was just, and I just quote tweeted her and was like, I bet she can work Harvard into any conversation. And then all of her friends started like getting angry at me and like,
Oh, really?
yeah. And it was one of those things where I was like, I could have an argument here, but these people are battle hardened. Like this is what
100%.
they live for.
Totally.
These very kind of, dare I say it, kind of lonely people on the internet.
Northeastern Times. I have the I have had many of the I went to Harvard, blah blah blah, direct, just dropping it into conversation, trying to thread it in. But now I'm noticing there's more of a trend of just going, I went to college in Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah.
They'll just say, the Boston area. They'll just say the Boston area.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, all right. You don't have to say. It's fine. We got it. You went to Harvard. It's fine. I went to a launch of a literary magazine, a literary criticism magazine in New York City. So
Well, I
of
mean,
course-
this is on you at this point.
at this point, I'm asking for it. But someone did do the Boston area, and I was like, yeah, okay.
Well,
we
don't
got
ask
it, we
any
got it.
follow-ups.
No, I didn't. I
Yeah.
got it. I was like, I get it. We're good. Literary criticism? Yeah, we got
Oh,
it.
really?
I got it.
Hey, what do you think about Tom Brady? Do you guys still like him, or what's going on there?
Hey, there's a great dive bar in Boston. I don't know if you've seen it. Anyway, so please tell my husband I went to Harvard. That's funny.
That's not bad, right?
That's good. That's good. I like it.
So
All
I've
right.
got two. What is the
Two
name?
more?
These are two. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
I'll be very quick.
Oh, good. No, great.
They're both kind of the same setup, in a way. I don't know how to do it. Is he the oracle that sits at the top of the mountain, or
The guru? Yeah,
guru?
sure.
Guru at the top of the mountain.
Okay.
Someone is sitting at the guru's feet,
Okay.
asking a question or asking many questions to get enlightenment, to get, a feeling of understanding about the world.
Mm-hmm.
And the wise man is saying, you don't have to end all of your questions with Reddit.
Yeah, this is great. I didn't know that was so mainstream. I guess it is.
Oh, it's everywhere. Well,
I know,
anytime
but
you put something into
I
the
do.
search bar
Yeah.
now, it says Reddit. So
That's funny.
I got another one, right?
Okay, yeah. What's the other version?
It's the same kind of setup, same person, except the guru is dressed like a 1950s gangster, right?
Okay.
Like proper gangster.
With
like
the
with the
spats and the
hat,
hat and
the violin case, like really like
will be
just
great.
fully thing.
Yep.
And he's saying,
Violin case.
and then maybe in the background we can see another mountain with a guru on it, maybe like in the distance.
Okay.
And the gangster saying, "You's a one mountain off," where they've gone to a wise guy instead of a wise man.
That's pretty good.
It's not great.
I want
let's
to
be
find a
honest.
way to get wise. I know it's wise because it's wise man versus wise guy.
I mean, Larson's already done it,
Has he?
right? Well, he did. We just taled about it. A couple of wise guys.
a couple
at
of
the
wise
back,
guys. Yeah, but like what? I mean, that's not.
but
this
it's not
joke.
the it's not the
joke.
gangsters. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is there another version of it where it's no? You want it's like they're just at the wrong address. They've clearly like just hiked up the top of Everest, and he's there, and he's like, "Oh no, you want over there? It's Kilimanjaro." He's actually,
yeah.
You actually want Gary. He's over in Kilimanjaro. I'm Gary with one R.
I can't give you enlightenment, but do you want a stereo?
Do you want a stereo?
He's like
Is this Canal
selling
Street?
stolen shit at the top of a mountain.
Oh, is that something? Is there a Canal Street version of the mountain? It's just like, there's a legit one, like a legit guru. It's a very tall mountain. There's a slightly less tall mountain that has stairs.
It's got stairs.
It's the Canal Street
Yeah,
version.
yeah,
And it's got little like fake Louis Vuitton purses.
Free Gucci handbag
Gucci
with every
handbags.
with every epiphany.
Yeah, Gucci handbag 1 mile up. Watches, fake Rolexes strewn around the mountain on a blanket.
I could, I could see
There's
that.
maybe there's something there. There could be something there. I like that very much. I think it's really funny. Wise Guys and Wise Man is inherently, I think I don't know why, because Wise Guys is such a silly thing to, like calling them Wise Guys.
I know.
I just think it's so silly and
it's
funny.
it's so antiquated now.
Yeah,
like,
do
like
people
if
say-
someone was like, if someone came up to you and was like, "Hey, give me your money, I'm in the mafia," you just laugh at it.
Like, are you a wise
You're
guy?
like, what?
What if
Hey,
it's
honey,
a wise?
get me a photo with this guy.
What if it's a wise guy just giving like an Alan Watts quote? Just like he's an actual wise guy. He misread the job interview.
Oh yeah,
Like or Confucius or like, some kind of Buddha. He's always quoting Buddha, this fucking guy. Thinks he's fucking wise, this guy, He's just always trying
Or is it an owl, like trying to rough people
Oh,
up?
an owl. Wise old owl. Wise guy.
Wise guy owl.
Is
I
it
don't
just
know.
an
Maybe
owl?
we're
Is it
just,
an owl within the wise guy, the spats and the the Chicago style gangster?
Yeah. That real Capone.
Wise guy.
And maybe his mate is like, it works better if you're a guy.
Well, yeah. Or is it just like?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. There's something there. We could work on that. Okay. So now these aren't. There's three. I've got three. Similar to nothing like the top three that I gave you of the best New Yorker cartoons I've ever seen. But they're ones where I'm trying to get them over the line, trying to figure out how they look, and I need your brain. I wonder, because you've just gotten back from a trip, and it was an international trip. You had a passport. I don't know what your passport photo looks like, but
It's actually pretty good.
now that's weird for a passport photo to look pretty good.
No, I took a few shots.
Yeah, okay, you got it right. You got a nice. Okay, so here's the thing.
I'm clenching my jaw and shit. Yo, I went in there,
Clenching
so
your
I had to do a visa,
Yeah, right.
and this is how good my passport photo is. The person at the USCIS, the United States
Citizenship
and Immigration Services, looked at me, looked at the picture, then looked at me. And she goes, "How long ago did you have this photo taken?"
Isn't that the biggest like low key insult anyone could give you?
But I get the best. So before each episode, there's a deli on your corner, and I pick up a 6-pack of beers, and we will do this. Every time I go in there, there's a lady there that's like, I know not to check your ID, but she asked me for my ID, and I gave it to her the first time, like weeks ago, months ago, whatever, and she was like, "You look really good, dude. Like, how old are you?" And her son works there. And he's
I
like,
know
"Hey,"
exactly
you know
the person you're
on the
talking
corner
about.
of 43rd there.
Yeah, that's funny.
All right, hit me
okay,
with your jokes.
Okay, so that's kind of the premise. It's the person getting their passport photo taken, but they're wearing like a hoodie, like a zip-up hoodie. They've got bags and rings around their eyes. They've got the neck pillow just like around their head, and they look like death. They just look fucking awful. And they're saying, "Yes, I'm sure. This is how I look after an international flight." You never look like your passport. I've had that where I had a pretty good one for a while. It's shit now, but the first one I got was pretty good. And they're like, I don't know how you look like when you fly back from Australia, but I look like dog shit.
Well, having done it recently with a 10-month-old child,
Right,
I
yeah.
look great.
I'm trying to figure out the caption, also the scenario. Like, I don't want it to be at the border when they're going through. I think I'm sort of pairing it back to when they got the photo taken so that it matches what they look like when they're actually going through the passport control.
What if it's like at the passport for like it's just maybe
Office,
one
yeah,
too many steps now of like they've got all those props there and like it's what they want, it's easier for them now. So, I don't know.
You mean the actual officers provided?
Yeah, the
Props.
the hoodie and the eye mask and the
Because everyone wants to look good in their passport photo for some reason, and how many people see it? It's like one. It's like a.
yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like you're posting on an Instagram.
I mean, I'd put
You
mine
would,
up.
yeah, you would.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's just someone going, look, I'm just trying to be practical. I'm saving time so that they don't do the whole, sure this is you. I want them to
Yeah.
look bedraggled and, just like horrible. I don't know what the caption is, though. I mean, that was my first part of the caption is, yes, this is how I look after an international flight.
It is a really interesting thing because everyone, well, most people, unless
Yeah.
you're in Congress in the US, has a passport.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? But everyone
Yeah.
knows like passport photos are generally bad.
Uh-huh.
Long distance travel sucks.
Yeah.
These two things should be friends. I'm just wondering if it's like a filter that you can,
Oh.
you know what I mean? Like,
They apply the filter after they take the photo and then they go, yeah, well, this is what you'll look like at passport.
that's pretty funny.
Like this is, they just run it through that.
Yeah.
It's like an AI.
Yeah. Want to see what you'll look like if you come home from,
Yeah, that could be a different angle, or just keep trying to approach it from different angles and figuring out like how do I get there without it being too cisse.
I like that. I like it. I really like that as an idea. Like I think the thing that you hit on, which I feel is probably the deepest insight,
Yeah,
is we do this thing of like, oh my god, I look terrible in my driver's license photo or passport or whatever.
Everyone thinks they look terrible.
But to your point, it's like the only people who are going to see it is one at a time, and they're strangers. Like, who gives a shit what you look like?
government officers and maybe a policeman at some point.
Yeah, and they just want to make sure that you're not smiling or wearing headwear.
Yeah, isn't that the two things? You can't smile, can't wear headwear. It's like, well, I'm not going to be smiling at passport, control.
Is there someone famous for always like Santa Claus, like no smiling, no headwear, and he's like, "This is gonna be tough."
Oh,
I don't know if I can
pretty
do
good.
this.
The Joker. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's not bad.
Something like who's someone that's always
Yeah.
smiling?
The Penguin. He always has his top hat and his
Yeah.
his little. Yeah, that's not bad. There's passport photos, and they just say no smiling, no headwear. And there's,
Yeah.
they're shrugging and like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Yeah, there's something there.
Stay out of the shrugging lane. That's my original material.
Sorry, I should have known. I didn't want to step into Shrug Town.
Yeah, no, listen, we'll settle this. We'll settle this on the dance floor.
Like all good jokes.
Like all good jokes.
Okay, so the next one is: have you ever been to the New York Historical Society?
No.
Okay, it's a very, very big building up on the Upper West Side, just above sort of Columbus Circle. It's a bit further north by the park. And New York Historical Society
Why
is
are you
great.
describing this like a child? It's a big building near a park.
There's lots of dogs around. It's nice and lovely.
No, it's got...
Show me on the doll where the man taught you about New York.
Oh my God. Show me on the doll. I'm not going to... I had a joke and I killed
Nah,
it.
you gotta kill it. You gotta kill it.
Yeah, so it's this big... It's by Central Park. It's this big old building. They do a lot of... They tend to do a lot of stuff with like... I think they might be doing in the same way that the New York Public Library is doing a 100th anniversary exhibition of the New Yorker. I think they're doing something with that. And with like the New Yorker covers, they're doing one. Anyway, it's a very big, august building. It's got like columns and
I know you don't like using the word austere, but
very austere.
Would you? Oh,
wow. And just very like it's a very formal kind of quiet, hushed little. It's like a museum. And I just like
most museums are like museums. I find.
The Museum of the Dog is not like that. The
Oh.
AKC Museum of the Dog is very active, not hushed at all. No one's hushing dogs. Quick tie-in on a book. RealDogOwner.com is where you can pre-order the book, by the way.
Oh yeah, cool.
Forgot to say that before. Okay, so it's a cartoon with a header, which I rarely do, but in this case it works. And it's the New York Historical Society setting.
Yep.
Columns and staircases and marble. But it's the New York Hysterical Society. It's all these people freaking out, going, "The sky he's falling.
That's
People
pretty
just
funny.
Screaming and yelling while running around. I keep thinking of like a Roz Chast.
Yeah. I can
Style?
see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. That kind of.
Yeah. And I hate that it's kind of just a pun-ish. Like, you know.
What do you mean? It's kind of a.
I
pun?
know, well, you know, there's more going on than just the pun. It's like there's you
No,
have
no,
to,
no,
You
yeah.
have to know what the New York Historical Society is. You have to know what it looks like. You have to know this.
What if it's like?
contrast
Is
between
this
the two.
too much? Is that it's built next door to the Historical Society and someone's at the wrong door?
Oh, okay. So that's Nick. You want the
want
New
next
York
door.
Historical Society.
Yeah.
And they're going, this is outrageous. It's just hysterical. Somebody call an ambulance. Yeah, that could be it. That could be a better version. Yeah. Actually, I was also thinking just today, and this isn't one of my three, but you know how eggs have just gone through the roof, the cost of eggs. I know this is
Yeah.
well-worn topic among pundits and Trump. But is there something in the goose that lays the golden egg being jealous now because all eggs are very
Oh,
rare
that's
and
not bad.
expensive? Like he's not special anymore because all geese are laying golden eggs?
Yeah. I was thinking, like, given there is a point at which things like blind eyes are turned.
Yeah, sure.
Michael Jackson is a very good example.
There's a musical on this street.
On this street, right.
Celebrating his life.
Which I think is kind of crazy.
It is crazy.
Kanye West didn't have that capital.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, like
That's so interesting.
Kanye West never wrote Billie Jean.
Yeah. I mean,
Therefore-
he wrote some
and-
bangers, but
and-
not Billie Jean.
And I know these are probably crude kind of comparisons to make, but what
Sure.
I'm saying is
He didn't have Quincy Jones.
there is a point at which we turn a blind eye.
Hmm.
I don't think eggs were expensive enough to turn a blind eye to what's going on.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like if they were $20 each,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
reckon
yeah.
people would be like, you know what, teachers, they've had their time.
Yeah.
Like I haven't had an
Funny.
omelette for months.
haven't had an omelette
You know
for
what I mean?
months.
Like there is a
Yeah.
number, I don't know what it is,
Right.
where people would be more readily accepting of like Elon Musk making decisions
Yeah.
than right now. And at the moment, like
Eggs aren't it.
eggs just never kind of cross that threshold.
I mean, I'm against you. Eggs are my favorite food in the whole world.
I'm so sorry. Like, you know,
Yeah,
like I
they're my
understand your
favourite
rights are being trampled.
Yeah.
But-
I just love eggs though.
Have you had a frittata?
Is it 4 years into the Trump presidency? Is it 11 Madison Park and they're serving omelet? Like is it that's the only place you can get an omelet now?
yeah.
Is like a fancy 5-star, you know, like a Michelin star
Just
restaurant.
on a plinth at the Met or something.
It's not even a full omelet. It's just a little. It's an omeletette.
Yeah.
An omelette. Yeah. In a.
I don't know if it's
cloche.
a cartoon, but I just
Yeah.
think the eggs thing is
Oh, there's more egg content coming your way. Don't worry. If my
Yeah,
act is
good.
anything to go off.
good.
Okay. So, and there's a last one. I don't know. I think there are word firsters in the New Yorker and there are picture firsters. You're a word firster.
Yep. I'm a big word first guy.
I think Ed Steed might be a doodle firster. I think based on some of his cartoons, but I don't know. Maybe he isn't. This one, I thought of the caption and then I thought, what is the scenario? The caption is, I pinch myself so often it's bordering on self-harm. So it's someone who's so happy. And I thought initially it's like a crypto bro after the election. Is it, it's like, or is it like a bad person in government they're just doing everything they ever wanted to do? Like Elon just stripping USAID or, like it's someone in such a scenario that they could not be happier. They couldn't have been luckier. They just keep pinching. I pinch myself so often.
Yeah.
It's bordering on self-harm. I'm not trying to make self-harm joke. I'm not trying to belittle people who self-harm, but also that's the joke.
That is the joke.
That's the joke.
Or is it I'm pinching myself so much to cry for help?
It's
or
bordering.
something?
Yeah, it's bordering on bordering on a cry for help.
I'm pinching myself so much I'm literally painfully happy.
Oh, painfully happy.
So, I mean, it's not.
People say painfully happy still. They don't. Oh,
Do they?
painfully happy.
I haven't heard it for a while.
Yeah, such are the times in which we live, my friend. Yeah, I don't know. And look, I know that we usually pitch dailies and political cartoons. It's been like drinking from a fire hose this week. Also, I'm really trying to keep up, and I'm finding it really hard. Just like hour by hour, the news updates don't repeat any stories anymore because there's just every hour there's a new story.
There's a new thing.
It's not like a developing story. It's like, no, here's a new one.
Yeah.
I'm finding it really hard to write jokes about because the stories just overlap each other now.
Is there something in that?
Maybe. I mean, there was a great Leighton cartoon, which was the wife popping her head into the cartoonist studio going, that cartoon you do about Trump just happened.
Yeah. I saw
that was in
that.
2016.
Yeah, I
or
did like that.
15, 16.
Oh, but one thing I have thought about, and this is just kind of not even an idea, is
This will be good.
how difficult modern history is going to be in 40 years' time for kids at high
Oh my
school.
God,
Where they go
yeah.
through, okay, we're having a look at the second Trump presidency.
Yeah.
Right? And then
Wait,
like,
they did it again?
yeah. And they're
they-
like the whole semester. Look, a lot of stuff happened, but this semester just focuses on the first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And we're not going to get through it all.
That's funny. It reminds me of that great Norm Macdonald bit that he did on Letterman, the First World War.
I don't know if you're a history buff.
Yeah, I don't know if you're about Germany. They went to war with the world. The second one, like, you're not going to believe this
Yeah.
again. The world.
Is their opponent they chose?
The world.
Like the idea that they want to have been training. Fuck it, let's take it on.
The second time they didn't learn.
There is one country that worries me, though. Not Iraq, not Iran, not North Korea. The only country that really worries me is the country of Germany. I don't know if you guys are history buffs or not, but in the early part of the previous century, Germany decided to go to war. And who did they go to war with? The world. It had never been tried before. And so you figure that would take about 5 seconds for the world to win, but no, it was actually close.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I the reason I throw these at you, I know you marinate on them and then text me at 3 a.m. and go, got it. I've got it.
Yeah. I think what if instead of the self-harm thing, like it is self-harm, but it's more like I don't pinch myself to see it's real. I pinch myself because I'm guilty. You know what I mean? Like
Is it you know when people think, oh, is this a dream? Is this a nightmare? Is it they keep pinching themselves to try and wake up from this Trump
covered
presidency,
in
just covered in
bruises.
bruises, going, it's not working. It's not working. This is real. Because
Yeah.
people keep saying the term to me lately, and not even comedians, just regular people just saying, wow, what a timeline, eh? As if we're in a split branch timeline where Trump won. And we're like, oh, we got stuck in this one, eh? Multiverse theory?
it's lofty.
I've heard it 4 times
Yeah,
this week.
yeah.
It's crazy. I'm like, yeah, wow.
You see it a lot. It's like, this is the dumbest timeline. It's just a link to an article.
Right.
Let's
okay,
have a
so
think.
we'll go. If you would like to send in your idea for a cartoon, send it to It's It Podcast. That's ITSIT podcast at gmail.com, or just chuck it in the comments of this episode on Substack. Is there something in this.substack.com? We got one this week from old mate Nell Sonic. Back again.
Back in.
Saying, good to have the podcast back, guys. Is there something in this?
Mm-hmm.
Tropey therapist couch scene. That's one of our favorites.
Yeah.
On the couch is a visibly upset tennis player wearing sweatbands, sneakers, maybe
Bjorn Borg.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe racket bag next to the couch.
Yeah.
Therapist saying, well, it sounds to me like you crossed the line and it was in fact your fault.
Yeah, I mean,
He said, if that's too long,
it's a bit long.
the caption
Yeah.
is, geez, sounds like it was your fault.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought he was going to go with love. Like,
I think that's been done.
I mean, it certainly has been.
I think I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was a
I mean, Seinfeld did a bit about it on Seinfeld.
on Seinfeld, yeah, which is way to burn a bit. Yeah.
That is the definition of it's been done. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What if they're just saying it sounds like it's your fault?
Sounds like it's your fault.
Sounds like your fault.
Is the therapist in a tall chair?
That's the joke.
That's the
no
joke?
caption.
It's just a tennis player on a couch.
That's the joke. And
Therapist
the
is
therapist.
in a tall-
oh, that's the joke.
That's great.
Oh my god,
That's
that's
the
so
joke.
funny.
There we go.
Oh, we
got
should
it.
pitch that.
Yeah, let's pitch
That's
it.
really funny.
Nell Sonic, you get credit for the premise of a tennis player on the therapist couch, and I must admit, I've seen some.
This
very
would be
funny...
one of the worst Judge Judy episodes ever. Nell Sonic versus us. Like,
God, I hope
Your
this
Honor.
gets rejected, so we don't have to go on Judge Judy. Or do I? I kind of want to go on Judge Judy.
you know, Johnny Rotten was on Judge Judy.
No, really?
Yeah, Public Image was touring. It was like one of the first series.
What was the charge?
Yeah, one of the employees for Public Image was touring and was they said they were employed kind of under false look, this 25 years ago.
Yeah.
But essentially was like, yeah, we were touring and like we had to sleep on the floor and stuff, and like Johnny Rotten was like, yeah, you're touring with a punk rock band.
Yeah,
like,
what did you expect?
What were
5-star
you
hotels?
expecting? Anyway, Judge Judy says, she goes, Mr. Lydon, how many people do you have working for you? And he goes, 8, Your Honor, and not a sunroom amongst them. And Judge Judy started laughing. Like,
That's great.
Yeah,
that's
funny.
a great line. I love that. Well, that's all we've got for this week. If you want to send in your cartoon, remember it's itpodcast@gmail.com or in the comments of this Substack post. I have to say, if you are interested in getting the book, it is now available for pre-order, realdogowner.com. It's 120 odd cartoons that we've drawn about being a dog owner. Scott, dare I ask, do you want to read any of them? Do you want to do some sizzle for
there's
the
a
book?
bit of sizzle here. I'm just going to open it random.
Sure, open at a random page and read one.
Okay. All right. So essentially what it is, it's like the same premise for each joke. So you're not a real dog owner until saying bless you when a dog sneezes becomes a reflex. And there's a guy in a cinema screaming bless you while people look on angrily. And I think it's a good joke.
Is watching Clifford the Big Red Dog on the movie screen.
He is. Yeah. Hopefully we don't have to pay anyone any money for that.
I meant Clafford the Bag Red Dog.
Yeah, look, and keep posted as well because we're going to be announcing the launch
Yes,
in
we
North America. It's going to be in New York. We're in talks with other countries at the moment as
Yes.
well. So we might be coming your way.
Yeah, so any listeners in Australia or anywhere else, stay tuned for launches there. But yeah, we will be launching the book on April 29th. So anyone in New York, hit us up and we'll let you know where the launch is going to be.
And also, don't buy You're Not a Real Parent.
Yeah,
Don't buy that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Unless you're in Russia. In which case,
Yeah.
give us your ripples.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, that's
right.
it. Let's go to the pub.
Peace.